Let me see here. Let me get some coffee, Andrea.
Oh gosh, that's awful. It's like a mukbang podcast now.
Okay. Now that I've had my coffee, let's do some podcast stuff.
I like it. We got a late start today because we were up late last night waiting on our baby to come.
Stressing about our baby.
Not stressed.
Well, I mean,
just hoping he was having a good time. We set Jackson off to his first. He had a junior prom last night. So we spent the week getting him ready and doing all the things, getting his little outfit and ordering the flowers for the corsage.
He looked so sharp.
He did. He looked so handsome.
He looked like this Albuelo, I think. Long hair. He's got the long hair, but I will say we were the obnoxious parents at the photo shoot.
A little bit, but I
still feel bad about this. Like instantly I felt bad about the photo shoot.
Why?
It just felt like a lot. The kids were probably like, we just want to come take some photos.
No, they were cute. We just kind of invited ourselves because they were meeting up as a group before dinner. So we said, oh, let us come take some pictures of you guys. And we have a nice camera. So we said, we'll come take it. And a couple of the other parents came and we just did little photos. We did individuals and group pictures and couple pictures. And
it's one of those things that I feel like in the moment they were like, this is kind of weird, but like
they're gonna
2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we have these photos.
And it was a pretty area too. We got to just hang out in such a nice area to take pictures, and then they got to go to dinner. And so he's actually still asleep, so we haven't even heard about the night yet.
Just have to be quiet.
Yeah, just record quiet.
I don't remember. We did take pictures for our prom, though, didn't we? We took a few.
Yeah, we went to our friend's
house, and everybody was there for a minute.
Well, we only went senior year. We had like homecoming in the fall of our junior and senior year, but we only had prom our senior year. But they do a junior senior prom. I think too because their school's a little smaller.
Tiny.
They invite the 11th grade too. So, but yeah, I remember going and taking pictures because you had the Chevelle. We didn't drive it to prom, but we took pictures with it.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Do you remember what we did drive?
I do remember what we did drive. We drove my mother's 2002 Volkswagen Beetle. Turbo Beetle. It was midnight blue. We took a little bug.
And it was a stick shift. That was fun. Yeah. So it was still cute. We took pictures with both. Yeah, but you being a car guy, I figured you'd.
Yeah, that was fun.
That'd be you.
We'd already been together for a little bit, right?
Yeah, 2 years at that
point. Oh my God. Whoa. You
always are so traumatized by our relationship. I don't know how I feel about that.
Oof.
But I mean, prom was fun. To me, it was very like typical. We went and we danced and we took pictures and we ate and it was nice. But what I really remember is the after prom that the parents put together.
That's right.
They worked so hard. There was a committee and they worked all year, and it was at a local bowling alley that had like karaoke, and they had out card and table. They did like a casino thing. I just remember my mom was a blackjack dealer, and that was so fun. We sat at her table for a long time.
Playing, yeah,
all our friends came by and stuff, and they had like photos that you could take and get little buttons made, and we were doing a video.
I'll never forget the prom theme was like Enchantment Under the Stars because we had done a musical that year.
Oh, with the
same banner. Like, we created this huge backdrop. It's like Enchantment Under the Stars or Under the Sea or something.
Yeah.
I think Under the Sea is actually
something like it.
Back to the Future. But yeah, so I just remember that was the theme because of our musical. And the president was in theater, so it was like,
yep, it worked out.
Yeah, let's just reuse it all.
Yep. It was fun though, and it was just so full circle to be sending our own kid off to prom and taking pictures, and then once again we talked about you being like the grumpy, quiet dad when he got his car towed a few weeks ago, and now it was like we're the doting parents taking pictures, like have a great time, like how did we get here? How are we the parents now? That's really weird, but
I'm trying to think. Did I get lucky on prom?
Oh my gosh.
Let me think.
I don't think so.
Well, you know what? You're probably right because it's only happened twice.
Yeah, that's how we have our 2 kids. Well, there you go. Easy enough to remember.
That's right.
Thanks.
Would you go to prom with me if I asked you right now?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Every day's prom.
We need to go to prom.
Let's do it.
Dressed up.
I love it. It's an excuse to go shopping. But yeah, fun times. Can't wait to hear about it once he wakes up.
I know. Once he wakes up,
get the full scoop.
Pepper him with all the same questions.
But it sounded like we heard him come in at like 1, and we were saying, we know it's late, but did you have a good time? He said, I had a great time. I said, can't wait to hear about it tomorrow.
Hear about it tomorrow.
not.
I continued to snore.
Yeah, pretty much. But he made it home safe and had a good time. And yeah, it just all goes so quickly. But I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Let's do music first.
Always the music. I love the music. So we are Matt and Andrea, married couple, together 25 years this year, married for 20 this month in like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god.
We gotta plan the anniversary.
We don't have anniversary plans.
Well, true. We need to plan for our anniversary, but also like on the show.
You should do something special, right?
Yeah. We need our listeners to tell us, what do you want to hear?
Yeah.
But back to it. We are a married couple. We've been married 20 years together, 25 this month on the 23rd. And our boys are 13 and 17, and we're getting closer to being empty nesters. And so as we start thinking about what our next chapter in our life looks like, we decided to write a rom-com book together, first novel. And Matt had a great idea to do a podcast to document that process as we, just figure out what that works out. And what we're excited about is sharing kind of our research process too, because one of the things we like to do is attend author events. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this week. And then also
we have some author spotlight.
Yeah.
And then we have, I have a couple of ideas to float to you.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been talking a little bit more about plot, and Matt has had some revelations that he's going to share with me. I asked him to wait to just tell me on the podcast so I can have a true blind reaction. So I'm excited about that. But thank you. Welcome. Thank you for being here and listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming along. If you haven't already, please go to our website, ournextchapterpodcast.com. If you sign up for our currently non-existent newsletter, the bigger deal with that is that you get your name in our book when we publish our book.
Right.
Your name will be printed as one of our OG fans, somebody who's been with us since day one. And so please go do that. You can follow us on social media at Our Next Chapter Podcast.
Probably most active on Instagram.
For sure. Yeah, we're trying to be better about Facebook and TikTok and things, but definitely most active on Instagram. We did have a very exciting author follow us this week. She's not our author of the week this week. She probably will be in a few weeks when we go meet her in person. But Paige Toon, if you've been listening, and you know that we talked about Paige Toon when we were talking about pen names, and Matt thought maybe it's a pen name, so I researched it. It's not a pen name. It's her real name. She followed us this week, and she's coming. We have tickets to go see her in Dallas in a few weeks. So we're excited about that. Yep. So that was big news for us this week. And so we're
excited.
Yeah,
and it was Abby book release week.
Abby book week this past week. That was a fun celebration. Then I got my signed copy of the new book.
That's right. Now you've got the full set still signed.
I still have the full signed set, and it had a bonus chapter for the next book.
And I don't want you to read it to me.
It's so cute though. It's only like 4 pages.
It's not about that. It's not about the fact that it's short. I want to read the whole thing at one time.
You just want to be able to dive into the whole thing. I
just want to do the whole thing.
I just like the little bits and pieces, the little, I don't know, like breadcrumbs that she gives us along the way, because we have to wait until April. If that's assuming we don't get an ARC or, another advanced copy, but it doesn't come out until next April. So it was fun to just get a little glimpse of these. And we've met one of the characters before in the current book, Say You'll Remember Me. His name's Chris. He's going to be the focus of the next book. That's going to be called The Night We Met. So that was exciting. It was a good week and fun to celebrate all of that good things happening for Abby and the success of the new book. But we're excited to jump in and talk about our current author of the week.
Well, the authors we met this week.
I know, we actually met them, and they had some great advice for us as writers. They were just awesome. So our author of the week, I was pausing because I didn't know if we had a jingle.
Oh, we do have a jingle.
Oh, okay. I'd love to see what you've prepared.
Oh, yeah. I've been
thinking about this all week.
All week I've been thinking about this. Here it comes. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Author of the week.
Okay, I like it. Thank you. Remember, fade out.
Author of the week.
Perfect. Thank you. So, our author of the week is an author duo that go by the name Max Monroe.
Do you want to talk about the event and what they say?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're new to Max Monroe. They've published over 50 books together. This book that we went to this event for is called What I Should Have Said. And it's their first book they were celebrating as their first book tour, but also their first book to be published into
right?
like big name, Barnes and Noble, Target, all the Amazon. They were really excited to finally have books in these big name stores and New York Times bestselling authors. But yeah, they've been writing together for a while, even though we're new to them. And we got to go, it was a conversation with them at the Half Price Books here in
the big flagship store here at the Half Price Books in Dallas. And there was a pretty big room, probably had about 60 to 100 people in it.
Yeah.
One of the fun things they did at the very start before they even came out was they handed out sunglasses, just fun little tchotchke stuff.
Pink heart
sunglasses, which clearly, pertain to the book and what happens there.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So when they came out, everybody had their pink heart sunglasses on.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Had a photo and
just started with like good energy and engagement. And this book actually came out last year, I believe in April, and they have the next book in the series is coming out in July, and it'll be called When I Should Have Stayed. But it was fun. It was a good mix in the audience, I felt like, of longtime readers of theirs who really knew their characters deeply and how they all connected between books and the series that they've written.
And new readers, right? I got the feeling that this book was a little different from some of their other books. Maybe they went super light rom-com before, but this one had a little...
Yeah, that's... we haven't read it yet, so we're excited to. We kind of started peeking at it while we were there, but it does seem like this one has some heavier, more real-life content. But it was just fun. They just kind of jumped into a conversation. It was
so fun.
They just kind of started talking a little bit about themselves. They were asking the audience, what questions do you have for us?
I think the thing that I like the most is that you could really tell that they liked each other, they trusted each other, and they were like very close. Yeah, finishing each other's sentences close.
I like that too. I anytime you're watching people on stage as an audience, you have to learn to trust who you're watching. So seeing how much they trusted each other was helpful too. They would start a story and the other one would finish it or whatever. So that was nice. But they talked a lot about their writing process and their characters. And I think something that I really liked that I thought, if we were to, what inspired me about them, what would I like to model us after as authors? I loved how they talked about their characters almost like people or friends they know.
Yeah.
I think I've told you before, like when we read, especially when you and I started reading books together, it was so fun to introduce you to these characters that felt like friends that I had been hanging out with that suddenly I was getting to introduce you to. And I loved that when they talked about their writing process, they talked about how they listen to what the characters tell them that they want. And so I think even in this last book, they had an idea. They said they'd written 90,000 of the 100,000 words and then made this huge change to the main male character. And
sounds like they cut 70,000 words and just kind of started.
90, yeah. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm just wondering, for me, that would be so difficult.
That'd be hard.
Oh my gosh, it would be so hard to feel like you're just cutting so much of your work and something that you're attached to. But I love that they said that they really listen to their characters and how they speak to them, and they talked about them like people, and they laughed about that, about how their husbands give them a hard time and things. But
that's part of the reason. I think that's part of the reason we're trying to start with names, honestly.
Yeah.
So that we can then continue to brainstorm and talk about them as people versus like older sister, younger sister. Once we have names, they feel a little more.
They're people with stories and baggage and history. So that was just a lot of fun just to hear them and see how they interacted. After the event, we got to wait in line to get our books signed. And so that was really fun, too, to have a minute to interact with them. One, I was just so impressed because, they're meeting people and just how they stay so engaged and kept their energy up, and they just seemed so present with each person that came up there. And it wasn't like they had a script of something that they said each time. They really kind of let the person guide they let the fan guide where that conversation went. And so when we went up there, we said, hey, we wanted to let you know we came to see you because we're writing a book, and we wanted to hear about your process and things like that. And so they were really kind to take a minute to give us some advice. And I think you want to share a little bit about the advice that
so throughout the talk and then even their advice afterwards, it was kind of a similar thing. So during the talk, they were talking a lot about their process being one of them writing a chunk, whether that be a chapter or a paragraph or 3,000 words, one of them would write the chunk and hand it to the other to edit and to kind of go over. And it sounds like their process changes every time with every book, because they even mentioned at one point, well, I write the first half of the book and you write the second half, and then we switch. And they were talking about how funny it was that they would make the same joke, not knowing the other one.
Like really obscure random jokes.
Yeah. So they have this really great back and forth, and I think it depends on the book. They said, they're mood writers, so that makes sense. I could see that once a scene or a mood is kind of, that arc is over. Okay, well, I've done this piece. Let me hand it to you to take a look and read. And
or like what they're feeling called to write about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they said that they seem to stay really aligned on their characters, and it's like, that's what I love, is like it's like these characters are speaking to them, and they both, for the most part, stay on the same page.
I think it's because they are very close to like they said, they spend 5 hours on the phone. They don't live close to each other, so they're on the phone,
constantly texting, staying in contact, and just I really, really connected, I felt like.
And then the advice they gave us once we finally got to talk to them was about not being too precious with your words and ideas, right? Because it's easy to feel like you're killing your baby sometimes when somebody has a bad opinion about something done or written, but just about being open,
not taking it too personal,
realizing it's a yes and it's a collaboration,
and
it's built,
that you're both in it to make this what you're doing great. So I really liked that advice. I appreciated them taking the time to give that. And then also something they really reiterated when people were asking about their process was that even if they might write separately and then kind of swap to review, they edit together. Yeah. That was the thing. They really hit home that they went through every single word together at the end for final edits and things. And so I thought that was interesting too, that even though their process of how they write might change book to book, the editing is always together, and they edit every single word together. So I thought that was good. But they were just so fun. They had great personalities. They had come from Austin, and so it was fun. You're just hearing about their time in Texas, and
they're P.F. Chang's powered.
Oh my goodness, they're so obsessed with P.F. Chang's and the lettuce wraps, and we get it. I mean, I get it. We fabulous. We hope P.F. Chang's does sponsor them. That's their goal in life. They cracked this up because Max wasn't even focused on getting money from P.F. Chang's. She just wanted lifetime
wraps.
She was like, I'll put them out of business just eating lettuce wraps every day. And Monroe was like, wait, we could take some money. That would be fine. So they were I loved watching their banter and how they played off of each other. Just some fun facts about them. Max, like in her bio, she puts that she loves Coke. Then she puts the drink, not the drug. I thought that was funny. I saw online she has a degree in meteorology that she's not really using, but she is the meteorologist for her friends, which I really love and connect with because my friends know that I am very weather anxious and very weather aware at all times. And so
weather's a very personal thing to us. We have very specific meteorologists we like to follow.
That's true.
Even if they're not on TV anymore.
Rarely. I know. My granny had a meteorologist that used to be on TV, and he's not anymore, but he was the one to follow. And so it didn't matter what the ones on TV were saying. She'd say, well, what did Steve say?
Well, Steve said. Like she had called him.
And sure enough, I still follow Steve on Facebook, and I listen to what he says above anyone else.
It's true.
Even my friends at work now will say, what did Steve say? What's the weather going to be today? But I love that was her background, and just the funny connection that she aspires to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. I love that. That's very close and personal to us, being Cowboys fans and living here in Dallas. And so that was fun. And then Monroe, researching online, was a former labor and delivery nurse with dreams of becoming a professional ballerina. So I like that they're just keeping their options open, but they've written several series together. They've been writing together because they were authors individually before this, and they actually said that they met in like a author support group is what they called it. But they just realized they had a great vibe together and decided to start writing together. So they've done the Billionaire Bad Boys series, which I love that. They did a series, the Winslow Brothers series. So each book followed a different Winslow brother. There was a single dad collection.
Okay.
And so now they're working on this series of the, what I should have said and when I should have stayed. So those are coming out. But yeah, it was just such a fun night.
It was a great night.
We're excited to share more about that, and we'll be posting about them this week as our authors of the week. And then reading their book. We'll probably check back in as we start reading their book. Definitely. And just excited to do that. But
do you need a theme again?
Yes, play us out. Play us out. I love their motto. It's "We're just here to make you laugh and swoon." But I'm excited to read this. What I should have said, because it sounds like it's getting a little deeper. And we asked them, like, did writing this book, and the shift in that, did it change anything about your writing partnership as you moved into the next one? Because now they've already written the next one, the When I Should Have Stayed. But
a couple months.
just now I feel like they're moving into like the emotional depth, and I don't know. I was inspired by seeing their longtime fans that were there and the people who really knew their characters and their universe of characters and stories. And so
I love that when people ask very specific questions about characters or plots or things, because that's what you want as an author. You want somebody to be as invested as you are, and it just makes my heart so happy.
And I think that they're intentional in their writing about like rewarding those longtime readers with like the little Easter eggs or the cameos, and so that was fun seeing people ask and talk about that. And it really, we've been to other events where it was the author was being interviewed or the authors were being interviewed, and then there might be a Q&A at the end. But this entire event felt like a Q&A with the audience. Like we were just in conversation with them, truly. And that was fun. That was unique. And I just felt like was really, it fit their vibe. You know, it was very comfortable.
They got a chance to show their personality. And shine.
So follow them online. They're on Instagram at Author Max Monroe. Same on Facebook, Author Max Monroe. They're on TikTok. Their website, Author Max Monroe. But they were awesome. So thank y'all for your time. If you happen to listen, Max and Monroe, we had such a fun time in Dallas with you. Please come back. We have PF Chang's.
We have plenty of PF Chang's.
We will be happy to provide all the lettuce wraps.
If they want to come on the podcast, there may be a $20 PF Chang's gift card in there for them.
Does that cover the lettuce wraps? I do like that. We will at least cover some lettuce wraps for you. But yeah, thanks for coming to Dallas and just sharing with us and connecting with us and giving advice as new authors. We really appreciated your time. So please go check them out.
That chat that we had with them really had me inspired. To like continue to push forward, because we've been building this thing, piece by piece, puzzle piece by puzzle piece. And it really had me thinking about something we had discussed, which is, as the two girls have this single mother working a lot.
In our book,
In our book, yes. Single mothers working a lot, who would be there to take care of the girls sometimes and keep an eye on them?
Yeah.
And we said, maybe there's a grandma involved.
Yeah. Right? I feel like you took Max Monroe's advice and you were listening to our characters. They were talking to you. And yeah, we've just been thinking a lot about that who helped shape them. If we know that, maybe their mom, and not to say in any way that she was an absentee mom, but just realistically, the bills had to be paid.
Yeah.
And if she was having to work multiple jobs, which, I understand that. I grew up with a single mom, and I was talking with my sister on vacation who was in a similar boat. And we both saw our moms have to work a lot, and each of us realized that we had a grandma in our life too. So when you were, kind of talking about this, I was like, this so perfectly aligns. I felt like Max Monroe, like our characters were talking to us. And we both kind of arrived at this idea of maybe there was a grandma, like who poured into them, who invested in them, and just helped to shape who they are. And I spent a lot of time with my granny that I mentioned earlier that loved Steve the meteorologist. And she had a huge influence in shaping who I am. And so we've been talking about this idea of there being a grandma that maybe they spent a lot of time with growing up while mom was working, because daycare is expensive and grandparents are the best cheap child care.
About it.
And just truly love your kids, and so we've been blessed to have great grandparents for our kiddos and people who've invested in them. And so just this idea that the girls spent a significant amount of time with a grandma, I think is awesome. And there's so much possibility for who she could be and how all the ways that she showed up for them.
She could just be a driving force. And we talked about this, their personality, right? She can give in my head, she's the one giving them nicknames and really pumping them up. And
that's where Indy came from.
That's where Indy came from, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that I haven't really run by you yet, the big thought I had was, what if we're, we open the book at the grandmother's funeral.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
I know it hurts.
Wow, I was just getting so attached to her.
I know. Follow me for a second.
Okay.
Though. If we open the book at the funeral And you see this in a lot of books where it's the runaway bride. It's
Right.
this like there's a big emotional event at the start
Mhm.
that kind of puts our characters in this emotionally vulnerable kind of space. But you also get to see who they really are, like deep down, because they're in that response part of their personality.
Yeah, they may be kind of like in a crisis. Yeah.
And I think for us, this would be a great way to color that, you know, I'm going to call her Chloe because that's been in my head. The younger sister, Chloe, is the song and dance man, right? The humor. She's out there shaking hands and being strong. And then Indy, who's like our type A structured person, is still making sure everybody's fed and making plans and making sure everything's lined up, you know?
Yeah, I'm really checking in on everybody.
Checking in on
Not a visibly emotional.
Yeah.
And Chloe's more the entertainer and is going to be more open with her.
Exactly. And we get
Chloe. We're not set on Chloe. We're calling her that. That's her nickname for now.
But yeah, so then you can see even how they're attached, because I think they would be very, like, the sisters would be very attached, texting each other throughout the wake and the service or however we want to plan it out, and
staying connected.
Even though
they respond differently.
Versus,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
okay. You're selling me a little bit.
Okay. And so I think
still sad.
One of the devices we could use, another thing we've seen in a lot of books, right, is that maybe grandma, she starts to write. She's been writing notes to them like as they were kids.
Okay.
Okay. So this is kind of an established thing. And so after she passes, maybe the day of her funeral, both girls receive an email that says, "Hey, I've written you guys 52 weeks worth of emails, and you're going to get them every Sunday."
She's a little tech savvy grandma.
Yeah, she is. And there's literal services to do this, online services that you can actually do this. So it's not something we're making up, but
maybe the guy,
okay,
is somebody who helped her set this up.
Oh my God.
I have no idea.
He's an IT.
We never even talked about that as a potential career.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But I think
that was something that was part of their love language with each other, was like written words of affirmation, like lunch notes, and
maybe Indiana Jones maybe has an adventure journal or something, you know, like as a kid they were writing notes to each other. And
they're like, oh, they do have those like back and forth, like Mom and Me or whatever journals where you kind of write back and forth to each other, answer questions. That might be cute. Yeah. So if they get these emails, then it's like this is a continuation of conversations that they've had with her.
I think it's continuations, but I also think it's advice and things like that. So it could also be a device like a physical device in our book that opens a chapter.
Yeah.
Right. Here's a note. Here's the Sunday note from Grandma. But I think about, you know, you talked about Granny earlier. She had plenty of sayings.
Oh my goodness.
Deep South sayings about everything, you know.
It's hilarious.
But I think we give her that vibe of this like quippy, kind of sassy grandma, who I've named for now Sophia.
Oh, okay.
On purpose.
I like that.
Because of Golden Girl Sophia. Yeah. That kind of spitfire kind of thing. And so if you'd like, I've written a couple, or I've written this pair. I've written two, just to show you the vibe.
Like an email? What an email would be like?
Well, of a piece of an email.
Oh, okay. So you feel like the girls like got the best parts of her?
Yeah, I think
they're different, but
yeah, I mean, they're old enough now that they're doing their own thing, but they still stayed in connection with their grandma, of course.
Yeah.
And this is like her lasting legacy. It's going to help drive. And
I like it because she's still present then. Because to start with her funeral, I was like, wait, what?
Well, I may even have an idea of how to weave that into the big gesture at the end.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just to be there. I've got an idea on how
part of it.
She's part of it.
I like this because I'm going to tell you, I was really in my feels when you started with her funeral. So I like the idea that she continues to be a character.
I'm pushing forward faster than I should before we build out the character, but I'm trying to get the idea to you.
Okay. I like this stuff.
So let me read you a couple of these thoughts.
Okay.
So I've got two examples of something that could be an email to each girl, right? So let's say she's writing to Anna and it says something like, it says, if you're reading this before 9 a.m., you're probably working. Go make a pancake. You can eat it over your laptop if you must, but I swear to God, if you skip breakfast again, I'll haunt your pantry.
I like that.
And then
except like, that's kind of her.
That's her vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the same version for Chloe would be something like...
well, I like the idea that Anna is probably kind of is the leader and kind of bosses everybody else around. I like the idea that somebody bosses her, but in a nurturing way. Take care of yourself.
In a loving way.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
She's the sassy grandma that you're like,
yeah,
you can get upset, but you also realize grandma's right. Like, you're always like, okay, yes, grandma, I know. Maybe Chloe says something like, if anyone's ever told you you're too much, just remember, so is Beyonce. Tell them to buy sunglasses. Also, call your sister and say thank you. She's got bags under her eyes big enough to carry my ashes. She's got this sassiness and like irreverent kind of tone.
Well, and I like that maybe we didn't get to know the grandma before the book because we're starting at her funeral, and so we're getting to know her.
Get to know her throughout.
Yes, through these quotes and these notes. Yeah, that's super cute. I like that.
So that's kind of my thing. And like I said, I have an idea for the grand gesture there at the end to tie it all together to make it kind of worth it. But I think her notes would help drive the story and give it a little context.
Yeah, fun plot device.
And tell the story of what Anna was like as a kid,
I like that and how she evolved. And it feels like, too, just with the note you wrote for who we're calling Chloe, that the grandma is kind of influencing their relationship.
Absolutely.
That if they were, whatever their age difference is, we said we think that they have a pretty significant age gap. That maybe the grandma is making sure that they have this really deep connection and that they're staying bonded and that they're not going to drift just because she's gone.
Yes.
That if the grandma's been the tie that bound them, that's not going to separate or drift just because, because she's gone. Yeah.
And I think part of how the girls handle these emails is also going to tell a lot about their character, right? Because I could see Anna every weekend being like waiting for it and Chloe just being more flippant about it and kind of like, oh yeah, I read it, or I'll get to reading it, or this is cool. And I think that's a way that the sisters can also kind of bond too.
Well, it feels like for Anna, it's a lifeline. Yeah. Because Chloe, again, calling her Chloe has Anna. Who does Anna have? Anna had Grandma, Sophia, whatever they called her, and so I could see Anna staying, just that continues to be her lifeline of who she's waiting to hear from. And so then I could see when our guy comes in, him starting to take that space a little bit of like her having somebody else that she can lean on and depend on and rely on in that way.
And I think Grandma's going to be a little magic in the sense that she's going to talk about guys and relationships and love and stuff, and about how finding love is, important, or finding your person really, to share your life with. And I think her advice might be pretty well timed kind of throughout this book.
I like that. And I love unexplained magic in a book of just serendipitous events and things, and just I love leaning into the idea that things can just be a little magic. Sometimes things are just unexplained. I think that happens in real life, of timing or people, or you think of somebody and something pops up, I think there's so much about the universe that we don't know and understand about energy. And so I love the idea of having, Grandma still talking to them that way and them staying connected to her.
So can I put Grandma on the board?
I love it. I do. I'm still really sad about her funeral already.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's a little bit flash. I introduced her and then killed her in the same
such. Yeah, I'm still reeling a little bit, but I like the idea of continuing to get to know her and how she influenced them. I'm telling you, with Max Monroe, I am so attached to this idea of listening to your characters talk to you. And I feel this grandma's presence, and I'm sure it's a amalgamation of my own grandmas and all the influences you and I both had in our lives. But I just love the idea of her continuing to have influence over them and be involved in their lives even after she's gone in a magic little way.
I think one of the next steps for me might be writing some of these blurbs for all the characters, because it's really helping me shape them in my brain.
Yeah.
And maybe getting like a collage of people that might fit that vibe, like pictures and the visual piece of it. Not that she's Sally Field, but like, let's say Sally Field's picture, and let's put some quotes around it and like really build out, like you said, the character and the person. Because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, like writer process and my personal process. As a ADHD survivor, my working memory is so very low that's why I structure and write everything down.
Yeah. Putting it on my wall.
All on the wall, kind of look at. Because I know we talk a lot about structure. I did want to talk to you about this as well. And we talk a lot about structure on this podcast. And that for me is a lot like gathering the ingredients to cook, right? Because we know what we want to cook. Let me gather all of the ingredients, mise en place, and then we'll decide. I'm not necessarily gonna use the
exact recipe
to make the thing. It's like a dash of this, a dash of that. But if I know what the ingredients are, I know where we're going, I feel like we can make a nice souffle.
Well, it's like knowing the rules so you can break them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like Max Monroe and this week there were interviews with Abby. Both said they don't necessarily follow the exact formula,
right.
you know,
At
and
30%, you should be
right.
X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
And I think it's important that we talk to that. It helped me a lot to understand like the 10 beats and things like that. But I like the idea of having all of the elements there, but the way that it comes together is our own magic and our own vibe and personality as writers. And so I like that a lot. I think that's a great idea. I like the cooking analogy, even though I don't enjoy cooking. You know, it stresses me a little bit. I actually prefer baking because I do like following an exact recipe. As a reader, I see how important it is to shake it up a little bit and not have it be super predictable. But yeah, my mind immediately goes to all the fun ways that the grandma could use her pre-planned messages. You know, maybe one week something shows up at the front door and it's some adventure that they have to go on together. Some basket gets delivered or whatever. I just think that there's so much opportunity for ways for her to stay involved and also just help them get through that first year of grieving. I think that's really important. I mean, I've seen, you know, in movies and in real life, people that knew ahead of time, hey, there's going to come a time I'm not going to be around, and making preparations, whether it was videos or letters or activities each month for their people to do when they're left behind. I like the idea that she just continues to be there and show up for them in that way.
As we talk about the grandma, something we might need to put on our to-do list is what happened to mom? Where's mom in this equation?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if she passed away or she is still around, but struggling. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we need to flesh her out because I don't know yet. I can't get the vibe from the girls. Like, again, just putting myself in the perspective of listening to the characters. I can't get the vibe if she's absentee or if she's unreliable for some reason.
Right.
Or if she just lives far away, or it's just not her gift to check in frequently. She's not the one that nurtures the relationship, you know? She's like, my job was to make sure that you were provided for.
Get out the door.
Well, not that so much, but just like, you know, everybody has a different perspective of what it means to be a parent. And I think some people really see their role in parenting as my job is to have you, you know, clothed and fed with a roof over your head, get you to school every day, you know, things like that. And I don't think that that's wrong, just as much as if somebody says my job is to nurture you and teach, you know, like I think that's why it takes a village to raise kids.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe mom's role was just different in their upbringing than what Sophia would be. And so I want to kind of figure out who mom is and
or maybe
why she is or isn't around. I mean, maybe she is around.
I'm calling you right now.
Yeah.
But what if mom married a guy and just like started another life? You know, like she kind of floated away from the girls.
Kind of has another family too.
Another family.
Yeah, she's not closer connected. That's interesting. Yeah, I like that.
We've seen that, you know, in books and media where mom just kind of floats away a little bit because she's got a new family.
Just a new focus, or maybe they have that siblings or have the siblings or something that she's involved in raising. Yeah. Or she could be around. She's just around in a different capacity. But yeah, I like
she's a ghost. Okay.
No.
She's a ghost.
You and your ghost. No, I like it. I think I want to keep, that's kind of what I want to brainstorm on this week and figure out mom.
Yeah, that's gonna
what her role is and what each of their relationship is to her. Let's see if mom talks to us this week.
Yeah. Maybe the mom's name can be Stella.
Oh my goodness.
Stelly Belly.
No. No.
What? We can't have a Stella?
Somewhere, like I said, somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
they live in the Stella apartments or something.
Something, yes. Something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a President Stella in this world.
For anybody who's new to our podcast, Stella is our dog that Matt finds a way to bring up every week.
What do you mean?
And is just determined to get a character named after. So we've had requests for more Stella content. So.
Maybe we'll do a bonus episode that's all Stella based. I could do an hour on Stella.
I'm sure you could. I can
tell you about her likes and dislikes.
Sometimes maybe I worry that our boys, when they grow up and somebody's like, tell me like what was growing up like? Did your dad love your mom? And they're gonna genuinely say like, I think he loved our dog more, but he did love my mom. I worry about that. Yeah. You're obsessed with the dog.
That is a worry.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What?
Nothing. I was just.
Oh, okay.
I was following what you were
not answering the question. Is that what you're saying?
What?
Yeah.
I don't.
My favorite thing is when they'll ask him directly, like, who do you love more, Mama or Stella? And Matt will go, that's silly. I don't need to answer that question. You know the answer. And I'll point out, like, okay, you're saying this because you're worried about Stella overhearing and getting upset if you say in front of her that you actually do love me more. But I'm like, I understand English and my feelings are actually hurt, where she has no clue other than that she's hearing her name. Oh, you're sure? Yeah.
I talk to her. I tell her.
Well, I'm glad you're so concerned about her emotional well-being and not your wife's. That's good.
Both. 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Stella is our very spoiled pup that Matt is very attached to, and
I'll work on the bonus episode.
She's his emotional support.
She's my Sophia.
She's your Sophia, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to film videos with her for when she dies. So you get a video every week of her just being mad about being on camera.
We literally 3 times a week cry.
Somebody in this house cries thinking about the dog dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
We worry about it.
And I keep saying, you guys, she's healthy, she's happy, enjoy her life. Please stop thinking about her deathbed at all times. But yeah. She's a mess. She's 10. She'll be 11 in May. So she's getting to be an old lady, but she's a very healthy and happy pup.
Yeah.
Brings us all a lot of joy. So yes, maybe we'll have a whole Stella episode sometime.
I guess we better wrap this up so you can go get a massage.
I know. I got big things to do today. I'm going to go celebrate my cousin's 40th birthday. So very excited about that. And a little day of being treated at a spa.
I know.
There's worse ways to spend a day. So why are you going to think they're about...
What time should I get it?
I think it's a ladies only event, but now you're going to have me thinking about these characters and having them talk to me.
That's right.
Hopefully I'm not going to cry on the table about Sophia's funeral, but we'll see. But yeah, let us know what you think. What are we... This is a lot of plot development.
I know. We're thinking it through. We're starting to move forward a little bit. They're
becoming real.
We got to get moving.
Yeah. Well, but they're just becoming real. I feel like I'm more in touch with who they are and how each of them are different. I'm really excited to start thinking about our guy, though.
I do think this one's kind of interesting. I want to say first book. I don't know if there's a second book, but this book is different to me because we don't have an idea to start with.
No.
Normally, and we've had other ideas for books on top of this.
The one that we're pursuing.
But the one we're pursuing. So it feels like the next book, we're already going to know the plot, generally.
Yeah.
We'll have
something going to speak to us. And,
yeah. No. And so I'm having a lot of fun building this.
Me too.
It's been great to build it together and think through each piece.
Yeah. And thank you all of our listeners just for your positive feedback around. A lot of people said they really liked Indiana Jones. We had several people say they really liked that name. We love it too. We're attached to her. We like her as our heroine.
If you're out there listening and you have bookish friends, please share the podcast.
Please.
We're going to continue to grow. And I think we're going to try to get some authors on. I'm going to start knocking on some author doors maybe we can do some interview stuff.
Please do.
Maybe we can
come
get
talk
Max
with
Monroe
us.
That'd be fun.
Come on, Max Monroe. Come talk with us.
There you go.
But thank you all. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too. And I love Stella too.
No, every time. How do you sneak her in here?